I'm Joe Tracini. I am a comedian and an actor and an idiot. And I try to do all of those things one at a time, not at the same time.
Yes. And then what inspired you to write this show in particular?
The reason that I first thought to do it was because it was in like 2020, it was at the beginning of the year. And I was in the best place sort of emotionally that I'd ever been. And I had hope. I'd not experienced hope in any fashion before, but I was aware of its existence. And I'd had sort of 10, 15 years of awful, sort of personally. And because I was in a good place, I thought, yeah, I think it's about time that I did something with what I've been through to try and make it worth something. So I started writing the show. I did not get very far. I only wrote one joke in the last 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and I sort of did a work in progress. And then the lockdown happened, and my mental health fell off a cliff. For want of a better phrase. And I basically then, when the lockdown stopped, I sort of tried to pick up where I left off. But it took me a long time to realize a very different person, and I was not a well one. And so it took me many years of trying and not giving up through lots of panic attacks and stuff like that, very public ones, to actually get to a place where I finally got a bit better. So it's sort of been 6 years of trying. And yeah, it is very much something that I am proud of. I'm very glad that I didn't stop trying, because it's ended up sort of existing as a thing that's outside of me, and has turned into a literal thing that is about not giving up. That was a long answer.
No, that's great. And then how do you actually like reflect on, like you say, those 6 year journey from that point of kind of the hope that you had and then to the point where you are now?
I think that I reflect on it all the time, because I really didn't think I was coming back, like sort of in myself. I'm very grateful. I only had that hope for 6 months, Mark, before the lockdowns.
Yep.
But I'm very grateful for it, because I think if I hadn't have experienced that just before everything went tits up in the world, I don't know if I would have had something to fight for. No disrespect to all of the people that I love in my life, but it's never been enough, and it would be silly for me to assume on my worst day that it would be then. But because I'd actually felt it, and I was like, oh shit, I need to get that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really gave me something to search for. And I think because I got so unwell, even when things started picking up and good things were happening in my life, sort of professionally as well, none of it was making me any better. I was just getting worse. And I really did. I didn't know what I was going to do, because I've gone far too far down this road. I'm never going anywhere now. I'm certainly not picking when. But it was scary, because I didn't know how I was going to live with that feeling. And it had been such a long time since I was able to do anything at all, that I just didn't know what I was going to do. So I'm very, very grateful for the fact that I am back in the room and able to do shit now. And part of that is that I do constantly reflect on how bad I felt. Not in a morbid way, not in a sort of, it doesn't get me down.
Yeah.
Just I'm constantly every day, like, I'm so pleased that I'm not in that place anymore. And also being aware, I've been me for a long time. I know that it might come back. I'm not going to live in fear of it, but it is why I'm trying to keep myself so busy, Mark, is because I am just desperately going, well, if I can do shit today, I'm going to do as much as I can, because I don't know when it's going to go again.
Yeah, of course.
Again, long answer.
No, good. It's great. And then how do
Yeah.
you approach blending those themes, like obviously talking the honesty, then also the kind of abstract comedy? How do you blend both together?
it's not easy to make that shit entertaining, and it's subjective as well. So I don't know if everybody finds it entertaining, and I can never please all of them. But I think that I sort of have to resist the urge to work too hard when it comes to the writing of it and the doing of it. If I try to be funny, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I naturally deal with my problems with humour, as a lot of us do, And I think that I try to remind myself that I mustn't work too hard to make it entertaining, because that's how I get through, and that's what I do every day. So it's just sort of finding a way to put that on stage in a way that doesn't make people uncomfortable. Sorry, I've got an email. It won't be interesting. It doesn't make me. The priority for this show is making the audience feel comfortable, because I hate it when you go and see something, particularly, I talk about suicide, so it's not. It doesn't scream laugh riot, and from the beginning of the show, and again, I did it wrong for many years. When I was really ill and I was trying to do the show, it was not entertaining. It wasn't, because I wasn't well and I was having a panic attack, and I was trying to do jokes about things whilst looking like a man that was not, well. So I think that the whole show is sort of built in a way that I want the audience to understand that what they're gonna see is okay to laugh at and to enjoy, as well as taking something away from it. Hopefully, I really do. I care very much about how the audience feels. So it's not, even though it is about me, it's very much about them.
Yeah, this might be a crap question, so if it is, we'll cut it. How the synopsis mentions good liars, but how do you then distinguish between lying for the art or then lying for survival in your mind?
Oh, yeah, good question. That's not a bad question. I think that as an actor, like, lying's part of the deal, isn't it? And I think that that's a completely separate thing to me. I used to lie about everything all of the time. We've known each other for 20 years, haven't we? Since the first time we met. And I never lied to you back in the day, but when we first met, in that period of my life, I was walking around lying about everything, not massive things, just about my life. I used to lie to make myself as interesting as I felt that I wasn't. And which is really sad. But that's how I lived my life. And it was the most productive thing I ever did, was to stop telling lies, because the upkeep on it's a nightmare, and it's exhausting, and you get lost in them, you lose people, and they just get worse. So I think that lying for like art is one thing, and that's a completely separate, and it's not something I do in my show. It's not something I do in my life anymore. I don't act much anymore, Mark. Even, I think one of my strengths is, everybody's strengths is whoever you are. Nobody else can be me. Other people can do jobs, but they can't be me. So I try to make sure that I make a point of making sure that line is not crossed in my life, professionally or personally, anymore.
Yeah. And how do you then approach with this kind of tour that obviously starting kind of next week to then going through to July? How do you approach kind of looking after that well-being while you're on the road?
I'm very lucky that I get to work with Norwich Theatre, because they care about me more than they care about money and or anything else, which is not something you can say about many people or producers. And that means a lot to me. I'm lucky that I get to work with them, because I think that it's not an easy show for me to do, because it is very emotional, and I am, especially as the further down the line I get, I'm a lot better than I was just even last year when I was in Edinburgh doing it, and when I was writing it in the months before. I'm a lot better than I felt then, and so I don't know how I'm going to feel doing it next week, and because I'm a different person, but I know that I've got help around me. So as ever, I always ask for it. I always accept help, and and encourage it from everyone, because it is a difficult thing to go and do every day. It's also spaced out. I'm not like, right, let's get in the car and do a month on the road. That's not going to help anyone.
No.
So I've got a few dates, and then I get a couple of weeks, and I've got a few dates, and there's no pressure. I just get to go and enjoy it. I haven't got to write it. It's there. It exists. I haven't got to worry about that anymore. I worried about it enough. I can just do it and be proud of it, and hopefully people like it.
And do you have that kind of freedom then to play around, like improvise with the audience every night to different audiences?
Yeah, so I do, and I like doing that, but I don't in this purely because it's very, very carefully structured. Again, because of the nature of what I'm talking about, and I don't know why people are coming to see me. That's quite a big part of the show, is that I've got two audiences. One of them is mental health, and the other one is me dancing like an idiot with my gooch out. And I never know which ones I'm talking to. So I think that I have to balance very carefully, letting each audience member know the other side of what I do, and then making it work for both groups. And given the extreme nature of what I talk about with the mental illness and stuff, improvising doesn't lend itself well to that. Also, I tend to regret the things that I say, even if I don't need to. And it's not that I do that just one-on-one in Morrison's. So doing it in front of 300 people, I need to keep track of the words that are coming out of the mouth. So to do that, I just learn every word of the show, and then I act like I'm saying it for the first time as best I can, because I think that's safest for everyone.
Yes. And you are incredibly inspiring. You won't probably acknowledge that yourself, but you are really inspiring for the work that you have done. How did you approach bringing those videos to life? Like you say, the online content that you made during lockdown?
Sort of the stuff with Mick, with the voice in my head, that sort of thing.
Yeah. How do you kind of process putting that out there into the world?
I think that it was something that thank you for the nice things you said there, Mark. I appreciate that. I do struggle to take compliments, but I do know you meant that, so thank you. I started doing, I call the voice in my head Mick when I do the videos with the two of us. I started doing that very much in the same reason that I started writing the show. It's because I wanted an outlet to try and do something of worth, to use the awfulness that I'd lived through, and that just seemed that the first time I did one of those videos, it went viral, and then I kept going. And it's something that I know people did respond to in a really nice way. It helped me at the time. Again, it's a weird one. As the time has gone on, I can't really write them anymore because I live with Mick in a very different way now. And I think I cope with him in a different way. And I don't like giving him as much airtime as I used to. So I don't, but given that they were a response to how I was feeling, now I've sort of grown out of him a little bit. He's in a different room in my head, and I try to keep him there. But it certainly stemmed from me wanting to do something good with all that bad. It was nice that it resonated with people, for want of a less wanky word. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, how is that for you? Like you say, you're not really good at taking compliments necessarily, me neither, but is that when you get that reaction to that honesty?
Does help to, again, like not being on your own is a thing, isn't it? Like it does help when people go, oh yeah, I get that, I understand that. I think also because I am quite a solitary person, I'm very lucky that I've got my girlfriend and my family, but not great with others, haven't been forever. It's very easy nowadays to forget reality on the other side of this, So when I do meet people, or I get messages from people that it really does mean a lot to me, because it's something that's real, and I can forget that the words that I say have an impact sometimes. It is lovely when people say nice things, because it helps. I also, as much as I do like helping people, I've always spoken about my brain for me. When I sort of honest about how I feel, I'm not doing that for other people. I ain't that bloke. I am very much trying to save my own life every day, successfully, which is nice. Yeah. And and I've been doing that for a long time now. So I do it for me, but other people getting something from it definitely helps.
Yeah, of course. And we can't not mention the Channel 4 documentary, which is still available to watch out there. Amazing,
Yeah.
incredible again. Just how did that
Oh, thank you.
how was that process again that kind of and the reaction to it again?
It was again. I'm very very lucky that I got to work with the people that I got to work with. I had a bad experience, sort of trying to make a documentary just at the end of lockdown, and it was with and I didn't enjoy the experience, so I stopped being involved with it. And then I decided that I wouldn't do one until I found a company that wanted to work with me and tell my story my way. And I found that with Hungry Bear, and then Channel 4 let me do what I wanted. And but it did involve following me about at one of the lowest points of my life. And because at that point I wasn't even able to film myself for social media and things. I couldn't speak. And it was one of those things that at the time I knew that I just had to exist and let this, whatever it was going to be, happen. I knew what the idea was. I certainly didn't expect it to win awards and things, and it was something I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it, and if I watch it back now, I think, holy shit, I don't know how I did anything in that year, let alone that. But yeah, it came at just the right time in my life to help me out of the hole that I was in, which is why again, I actually did not get better after that. I continued to get worse, which is why last year I'm very proud of the fact that I still went, no, I'm not going to give up on the show. Because there was a point at the beginning of last year where I pretty much lost everything, sort of like things, not people, but so I am glad that I clawed my way out of rock bottom by actually getting off my arse and writing something. So yeah, and I do have the show to thank for that. Not a great poster professionally though. People do generally want to work with people that don't think about killing themselves all the time. So I am working on doing something else that might help that. So yeah, but I'm very lucky that I got the opportunity to do that show.
No, and like I say, if anyone hasn't watched it, go and find it on whatever Channel 4's demand is called these days.
Yeah, it's on Channel 4 on the 4OD, whatever it's called, the online one. Yeah, me and the voice in my head.
No, it is superb, and I would wholeheartedly recommend checking it out.
Thank you, mate. Thank you so much.
These are sort of quick fire questions, the next few. So, but you don't have to answer them quick fire. Go however you want.
See what comes out.
What is easier to silence, the voice in your head or the heckler on the front row?
Heckler on the front row, because he gets embarrassed.
Yeah,
you'd hope.
Hopefully,
even if it takes a couple of goes. Voice in my head, no, just keeps going, doesn't care.
Yes. And then, could you describe the show in just 3 words?
Funny, emotional, hopeful.
Strong. And what's the last thing you do before you walk on stage?
Breathe. I breathe. I literally just stand there and breathe out. There's a little I've got a video that plays, and I make sure that all I'm doing is breathing, because I've got nothing to worry about. It's the safest I get, doing something that's already finished in front of people that can keep an eye on me.
And if Mick, the voice in your head, was a famous movie villain, who would it be?
Oh, probably Dr. Evil, because he is funny.
Yeah.
He is funny, but he is also an absolute idiot.
Yes.
And has horrible plans. So yeah, I think Dr. Evil would be good.
That's strong. What is the best?
He's also bald.
Yeah. What is the best post-show snack?
Oh, McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
Always. I literally every day in Edinburgh, I thought I'm going to eat better today, and after every single 28 shows, I had 28 McDonald's. Mark.
No, I agree. After work, sometimes it's just there.
Yeah, that's it. I'd love to say it was just there. It was quite the walk, but I did it.
Yeah, no. Well, it's still great.
Yeah.
What's the one song that helps change your mood?
Oh, one song that helps change my mood. I don't know if I've got a song that changes my mood, but music massively affects how I am. So I think that I will listen to lots of different stuff, depending on how I am. So nothing changes my mood. Oh, well, drum and bass negatively affects me. So if drum and bass music comes on, I have to immediately shut that shit down.
Yes.
Yeah, so that it's a bit of a negative answer, but drum and bass makes me feel like shit.
Yeah, valid. And what's one thing you've forgiven yourself for recently?
Oh, what's one thing I've forgiven myself for recently? I think I forgive myself for the days that I can't do things, because I still get them. And I try to forgive myself as soon as possible in the moment for not being able to do something that day, even though I don't need to, because it's not my fault. I understand that I am somebody that feels guilty about everything, so it requires immediate forgiveness to get through. So yeah, feeling like I'm a failure for not being able to do, forgiving myself for that.
And if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would be plan B for you?
Oh, I've never been good at plan Bs. I think that see, difficult. I don't know. Probably some sort of, I was going to say teaching, but I wouldn't be a good teacher, Mark. I panic attacks turning up every day. I don't know. I think I'd like to be more of a musician than I am. I think that I'd maybe in a band or something like that. It would still be creative, though. I wouldn't be good behind a desk. Wouldn't last long there.
No. Also, I presume you've still got Steve. I hope you've still got Steve.
Oh yeah, Steve's it. Steve, yeah, he's literally. He's never far. Love Steve. What a guy.
Love Steve.
Thanks, mate.
What was the last thing you searched on Google? If you know the answer.
I can tell you. I'll look now. It was. Oh, that's embarrassing. Ticket sales in Norwich. Yeah, okay. I would look to see how one of my shows. There's a new show in Norwich in June that we've put on. So I was checking to see if anybody had bought tickets, and people had, which was lovely. But it does look desperate. That was the last thing I Googled. But it was that or lie, Mark, and we've been through this. Doesn't happen.
No, yeah, no. Well, I do the same, to be fair. I always check.
Good.
I check, obviously, at work, I check, like, oh, how many people are into it?
Yeah, for sure. That's it. But you're checking the show that's on.
Yeah, that's not my show.
I'm just checking my show in months' time. So, yeah, it's, again, slightly desperate, but I appreciate you making me feel better about it.
No. And then, if you could describe the show using only noises, what would you say?
That check out.
Yeah, strong. I approve.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate
this one's quite dark, to be fair.
Go on, love that.
In 6 words or less, what does the plaque on your bench say after you've passed?
Oh, regrettably tried to be liked by everybody at all times. Is that too many words? Regrettably tried to be liked. There you go. That'll do. 5. Regrettably tried to be liked. That'll do.
That'll do.
In the end.
That's quite dark.
Thanks, man.
And then obviously you have this. For people who haven't purchased that, they should purchase that. If you were going to follow it up with another one called 10 Things I Actually Quite Like About Me, what would be number 1?
Oh, tenacity.
Yeah.
I'm still here, and I do stick with it, and I think that as I get older, that does get harder sometimes, and I'm trying to stick with more things as I go on. So yeah, I think my tenacity. That's the first. You're not the first person to ask the question, but that's the first time somebody's got an answer, Mark. So thank you for asking that.
No, thank you for your answer. And then we can't talk to you without mentioning, obviously, Panto, as you say, Norwich Theatre. You've had a great relationship coming up with another 7th year this year?
7th year this year. Very lucky.
You've been obviously now writing the scripts as well.
Yes.
How kind of when do you kind of start that process? Is that already started for this year, or is it kind of?
I started this year's before we'd finished last year's. So I started having meetings about Peter Pan while we were doing Cinderella. And then, I've written my first draft and I am just continuing to go. Yeah, so I will have finished that. By the time I finish my tour in July, I will have written the panto. It's definitely a year-round job, which is great because I love panto. And that's another thing that I'm very aware of how lucky I am that I get to actually do it all year. It's great. And Norwich is just, they put so much time, energy and care into the panto, and the fact that they trust me to come up with the things that we do in it, I'm very, very fortunate for that. So I can't wait to do Peter Pan. I've always wanted to write Peter Pan, so yeah, I'm loving it.
Excited. Hopefully we'll be there. Like I say, I've seen a couple of them. I love how you blend, like, obviously the realism, the kind of hopeful messages you kind of also put in there as well.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, I try. Sometimes I go too far with it, and I think that I've found a happy medium now to sort of meet in the middle. Again, like everything I do, it is a reflection of how I am, and I think that now I'm in a better place. I'm able to sort of do that a little bit more subtly. But Peter Pan, that's got it all. It's that I haven't got to work too hard to give that a point. Because it is one of the best stories ever. So it's I love it. I love it, and thank you for being nice about them.
No, that's so exciting. That's on obviously this Christmas for everyone who wants to book tickets now. Get it early.
Yeah.
Then simply, what kind of keeps you inspired to kind of keep working, keep creating? What kind of keeps you inspired?
I think it's a lack of plan B. Definitely helps. But I think that I'm aware of the fact that no one's ever really known where to put me when it comes to work and things like that. So, I was in Hollyoaks for a long time, but they were never too sure about what to do with that character. And it's because the character was basically me. And I spent many years sort of waiting for the phone to ring to get a job. And that wasn't working. So I think that I'm very aware of everything, literally everything that I'm doing at the moment. And I am really busy. I'm only doing it because I made the decision to do these things. They all started with me because I said, I want to do that. And I think that knowing that is what my career and life path is now, accepting the fact that I'm not somebody that is going to get a phone call to say, do you want to be in this musical for a year? And then that happens again at the end of that contract. I'm not that guy. And I think I missed a lot of really good years of my life because I wasn't looking at what was in front of me and the potential that I had. And I was just focusing on what I wanted that wasn't happening. And I think understanding that I am somebody that has to create the things that they're going to do is what keeps me going.
Yes. And then simply to wrap up the conversation, you've kind of touched on it throughout, but what would you hope someone takes away from seeing your show?
That just absolutely don't give up. Absolutely don't give up. It was always going to be about not giving up when I first started writing it. But I didn't realize that I was going to have to not give up actually doing it. And I think, and I wouldn't have it any other way now. It's, there is so much of my life and my personality tied up in the show. I hope that people enjoy it and learn something if they don't know much about mental illness. But they walk away feeling like it's worth sticking with, whatever it is you're questioning.
Joe, you're incredible. It leaves me to say you are in Norwich, Salford, Cardiff, Birmingham, Maidstone, Brighton, back to Norwich, Leeds, and Exeter.
Yeah, that's all of them. So, if you come to Birmingham, Mark, please let me know. And if anybody else comes to any of them, please tell me that you're there. And it would be nice to meet you.